I'm a fan of tariffs to fund the government, as Trump has pointed out, and a sales tax. I don't think a tariff-only system is completely feasible because I don't know that we generate enough. The idea being that foreign countries would need us as customers, and thus those taxes would help fund the government. Maybe Trump makes the point that we were very wealthy when we were operating this way. But I think a national sales tax, you get your money when it's paid to you, you put it in your pocket. When you want to buy something, that's your choice. That's where we get the taxes
Some
from.
kind of consumption tax, I think, isn't a bad idea.
Because then you can save.
That's fair.
Then you don't get penalized for saving money. You don't get penalized.
Or investing.
Exactly, for investing.
Yeah.
And that right there, that's a great point, Tim. If you are not penalized for investing, that's actually helping the economy in multiple ways because it's investing in businesses in the United States.
Yeah.
But Phil, how will the government front money for war, military-industrial complex, and other ridiculous expenditures like gender studies in Pakistan if they can't just spend the money and then take it from you later?
Well, I mean, so hypothetically, having a consumption tax as opposed to an income tax doesn't change the way that money gets into the system, or doesn't necessitate a change in the way that money gets into the system. There could still be a Federal Reserve. And not saying that I endorse this, because I would love to see an audit of the Fed. I would love to see like actual money that's backed up by something other than nuclear weapons and by a tax scheme. But that does not, having a consumption tax does not automatically mean that there isn't a central bank, doesn't automatically mean that there isn't still the Federal Reserve that prints money when the Congress writes a bill. All of that stuff could, in theory, still be in place, but instead of having your income taxed, you have a national consumption tax that maybe it would adjust depending, like the way that the interest rate adjusts. Compare, the cost of borrowing money. Maybe the federal consumption tax adjusts depending on the needs of the government to manage inflation.
Should it be federal or should we keep it state?
No, it has to be federal because the states don't issue the currency.
Yeah.
We like our armed forces.
Yes.
We want to make sure that these guys get paid.
Amen.
Have you guys ever argued economics with let's just call it a more prominent leftist?
No, that sounds awful.
Oh, it is. But, see, here's the thing. If you're talking to someone who's not very learned on the issue, like, say, Kyle Kalinske, who thinks Elon Musk has cash and doesn't know what a farm looks like, I hate to be mean to the guy, but he's really gone off his rocker as of late. But
yes,
he used to be so nice. But I've actually spoken with the more learned leftist individuals who I would put them in the category of willfully lying. You've got the people who just don't know what they're talking about, and then you have people who are willfully lying. And the argument made by many of these individuals, one example would be AOC's policy proposals as it pertains to universal health care, deficit spend.
Yep.
The way she's described it, and lightly, but when you combine this with the more prominent thinkers on the progressive leftist side, the argument they make is that the U.S. economy is so massive that it's not negatively impacted by mass spending and hyperinflation the way it used to be. So when you look at smaller nations with limited resources compared to the United States, hyperinflation is rapid. There's only a handful of factories, there's only a handful of food suppliers, only a handful of farmers. The United States is ridiculous. It's effectively 50 countries relative to how history used to be, say in like Europe. Their argument is if the U.S. government were to manifest right now $1 trillion and put that in a coffer to pay doctors to perform healthcare services on individuals, the money would enter the system in such a way that hyperinflation would not happen. Most people would not realize, and people consume so rapidly, savings are immaterial to the argument. They're literally calling for deficit spending and hyperinflation because so long as there is a monopoly on violence, it won't matter anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and these people, if you're dealing with leftists, they don't believe in a capitalist system anyways. So anything that might bring about a more consolidation of power in the federal government and less power to private industry is a good thing for them. So if they can get the entire all healthcare providers to be funded by the government, then that's a win to them, because then they get not only do they have the ability to say, oh, look, we give health care for free, we've got Medicare for all, but they also have the ability to ration health care and decide who doesn't get it.
That's right.
Which is whether or not they want to admit it, that's exactly what they want. And COVID is evidence of that. These same people were saying, oh, if you don't listen and do this, then if you don't get the vaccination, then we're not going to take care of you when you get sick. Well, if you don't obey, then you're not going to be able to
you
access.
wouldn't even have a job in some cases.
Well, it was pretty dark when Jimmy Kimmel said that these people should not be denied healthcare services. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.